buy the air filter. That's actually been on my list for like a month now, and I just keep pushing it
Girl, I'm
down.
about to buy the air filter for you.
I know.
Can you task rabbit that, Jay?
For someone to like research an air filter and then like buy it for me.
Oh, never mind.
The other day, we were talking about how so many of us live and die by our to-do lists, our Google calendars. All of our personal organization systems are like so essential. And recently, we had a little incident where our Google workstation at ABG, the account was like temporarily suspended for some like technical reasons. And we lost access to our email accounts and our Google Calendar. And I felt like our team was all in, like there were messages going on in Slack, like, what's happening? What are we doing? It just felt crazy. It felt really disorienting, right?
Yeah.
Like no one knew what was happening and when we needed to be doing what or where we needed to be for when.
That was the scariest day of my life. We thought we would dedicate today's episode to talking about our personal organization systems. You know, we are all in our 30s. We've been through the school system. We've been through corporate. We've been through building a brand together with ABG in a more entrepreneurial sense. And to accomplish any of that, I feel like what's necessary is some level of organization in order to meet your responsibilities. So that's what we're going to be talking about today in hopes that, you know, for some of you out there who are still working on refining your own organization tactics, maybe you can pick up some tips of how we organize and what works for us.
All right, to set the context, on a scale from 1 to 10, how organized would you say you are? Like self-analyze yourself at a 1 to 10. What number would you give yourself?
Ooh. I've definitely been a 3 before. I've shared this on the podcast.
Wow,
I've been
a 3?
A 3?
Been.
Sorry,
On the
I'm
podcast,
shocked.
y'all. She's been there. She's grown now, though. Okay. And my sister would probably say like a 1. Okay, when I was a kid. But if I were to rate myself right now, I would give myself like a solid 8. I'd give myself an 8. I would say like on an organizational basis from like a day-to-day to-do activity or whatever, I would give myself a 9. It's really high. But then if you think about home organization and, you know, knowing where every little thing is and being able to, you know, just have everything like clean and organized and all of that, I'd give myself like a 7. So average 8. How about for you ladies?
I said I would give myself a 7, 8 because I don't think I'm like, when I think of organization, I feel like on the day to day and on like the week to week, work wise, I think I'm pretty organized and on top of things. But like my home is like pretty clean, but I don't think I'm like next level where everything is labeled, everything has a certain place. Like you might open a drawer and be like, oh, that's a little weird. Like what is like, yeah, like you're like your mystery drawer. I might have like a mystery drawer or a mystery shelf, but like I will say 80% of my household items are pretty organized because I live with Ray. Ray's like freaking.
Is he a 9?
He is literally the other day. He had to be like, "Hey, babe, do you mind if I show you how to put your dishes away?" And I was like, "Excuse me."
So he has like
even
a
like
place for everything.
How are you putting the
place
dishes
for
away?
Apparently, he said I put it in the dishwasher as like my drying rack, but he was like, "Oh, it's not ample enough where you're like putting like you should put all the saucers on this way, and your cups on this aisle." I'm just like, bro,
I've had
it's clean.
conversations where there's this supposedly like women are not very good at the spatial stuff, and guys, when it comes to like especially putting in the dish rack, they are very particular about like the how you maximize the space or something like that.
Yes, 100%. So I think with that, I will say I'm like a 7 or 8. I'm actually surprised, Helen. I thought you'd give yourself a higher number because part of me is like, I don't think we're the same level.
A 9? A 10? I'm not a 10.
Yeah.
For sure not.
That's true. Maybe we should
Girl.
get a 15. But anyways,
Yeah, I'm definitely more of a 8 and a half.
yeah, okay, I'll just say 7.
Okay.
How about you, Jay?
I also gave myself like a 7, 8. But I think I am someone who
Damn, why is Mel laughing?
You think I'm not that organized?
No, I think we're all like, I think I'm laughing because we all ranked ourselves pretty high.
Well,
Yeah,
you laughed really hard when Janet gave her score. What was that about? Was there latency?
actually,
Maybe latency from this from your monitor screen?
No, it might be a delay. But the thing is actually like, I'll say it later, but I learned my techniques from Janet too.
Yeah. There are periods in my life where I'm like not that organized, right? And like aspects of my life that are not that organized. But generally speaking, from a young age, I've always been quite organized. And I'm usually the person that like will know where things are if people are looking for a document or like where we did a thing or remembering a past thing. I'm generally that person. Sometimes when I'm going through a tough time, I'm a little disorganized. I think we all have kind of those periods. But I think also in like my home, I will say I'm not someone who has like a regular like every Sunday I tidy up my home and that kind of a thing. I'm kind of like if something looks messy enough and it gets to that point, then I will clean it. Definitely have many drawers where people will probably be like, what the fuck is going on? But it's organized chaos for me. Like I know where it is. So yeah, I would say generally like 7, 8.
Okay. We're all between 7, 8, 9.
Okay, too. So now we obviously have a ranking. I really wish there's a question like, what would you rank each other? But it's also hard because I think we all have our own systems. I actually don't know your guys' systems. But
Ooh,
anyways,
we're going to talk about it
Yeah.
now.
speaking of systems, what are some tools and systems do you guys use to stay organized on your daily life? And we can keep it short and I'll go first. So the one thing I need, like if I didn't have this, I think I would be so disheveled, is I need Google Calendar. Google Calendar, I swear by, I look at this every hour, every day. Google Calendar, notes on my phone and my laptop, Google Docs, and then my alarm clock, like my clock app on my phone.
I would say, I think like 95% of my organization, you say Google Calendar, which is definitely part of mine, right? For like collaborative scheduling and reminders to do, or daily reminders. My Apple Notes is for sure my thing. Like I
that's your
need
number
that.
one.
That's my number one for sure. Like that's where my entire to-do list is. I also use the Gmail respond to label a lot for organizing my emails, and then my Slack unread feature to make sure that I respond back to work messages. But those 4 things I would say is like 95% of my organization. Otherwise, I use Microsoft Word and Microsoft Excel, but I feel like the more an app is easily accessible and also something that is syncable between your phone and your laptop, I found that I need that in order to feel organized for myself. And that took years for me to come to that realization with.
Yeah, totally agree. I think I use pretty much what both of you ladies have stated are kind of my tactics as well. I actually learned about the alarm clock thing through Mel, and that's become so helpful, especially in LA, if you're like going from place to place knowing when your parking is up. And then also, like the Slack feature of like saving the messages so you know when to go back. I'm not a big Apple Notes person though. I did use that more like maybe a year ago, and then I switched to going into Google Doc more now.
Okay.
And I think to your point, because it's syncable, I access Google Docs more frequently than Apple Notes on my laptop, I think is why. So I just always have it open and then they're always updating.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Ooh, I want to like convince you to use Notes now.
Yeah. I thought you used, I got notes from Janet, so I've been using it
Because I
ever
used
since.
to. And then I migrated it over to Google Doc because I like to customize and color code. And it's hard to do that in
I
Apple
see.
Notes.
I see. That makes sense too. Okay. You're convincing me now.
We are heading into the holidays, and I plan on indulging in a lot of yummy food and drinks. In prep for all the goodness to come, I've been trying to eat better so that my body is a well-oiled machine that can metabolize all the holiday yumminess without making me feel blah. Our next sponsor, Orgain, is helping me do just that. Protein is a very important part of a healthy diet. Research shows that we should be consuming 0.36 grams of protein per pound of body weight. At 30 grams per shake, Orgain's protein shake knocks out a big portion of daily needs in one go. I like adding mine to a morning or evening smoothie, or it's delicious on its own. The chocolate fudge flavor, mwah, delicious. The founder believes that real nutrition has the power to make a difference in people's lives, which I 100% agree with. He left his medical practice and founded Orgain to create foods and beverages that offer better nutrition for people everywhere. Their 30-gram protein shakes are a source of complete protein with all 9 essential amino acids, which gives me energy for a healthy lifestyle. Orgain 30-gram protein shakes are available at Costco and Orgain.com. If you want to get in on the delicious protein-packed nutrition today, head to Orgain.com/ABG and use code ABG for 20% off your order. Once again, that's ORGAIN.com/ABG for 20% off. And make sure to use our promo code ABG so that they know we sent you.
So when it comes to planning, there's like there's like planning your week versus planning, your month or your year. How do you ladies go about planning your weeks?
Actually, so this is where I learned from Janet, because I think early on we were going full time for ABG. I was actually feeling really disheveled and disorganized because prior I used to only plan a day at a time. So like the day, but like on Monday I would plan for Tuesday and then that's it. But I think I was like getting overwhelmed because I wasn't prepared for like the end of the week stuff. Janet's like, why don't you plan for the whole week? And so I started doing that. So every Sunday now I look at my calendar for the upcoming week and I literally write my to-do list from Monday through Saturday or Friday. And I like move things around based on like, what is needed or what is urgent. But literally I have to do it weekly. And I highlight everything in different colors. Like for any calls we have for ABG, it's like in purple. Any personal things I need to do, whether it's like going to the gym or whatever, that's in a different color. So like I kind of like have different checklists going on. Like I have a work checklist and I have a personal checklist. And so like then that's how I write all my to-do items for every day there. On a different tab in my notes category, I also have an overall, which is like these are kind of like reoccurring things like check your budget, or, do your expense sheet for ABG, or like, don't forget to you have to like set up your dentist appointment, whatever. This is a thing I always reference at the beginning of the week to be like, is there anything here I need to add to my like weekly schedule? Because I feel like there's always like everything, there's different timelines, right? So you got to make sure you're capturing everything. And so within my overview notes, I have again personal, ABG, and within ABG, I divide it by categories like video, podcasts, social, general, and like all these different things, so that I could see it clearly when I reference it. But that's how I kind of plan my weekly schedules, through that overview, looking at my calendar on Google, and then planning at a week's time and one sitting on my notes.
That's what I do too. And I feel like that's been like a big life-changing like thing where it's like planning on a Sunday night or Monday morning, 1 to 2 hours, carve that out and just look ahead for your week. Reference your calendar. I put everything that's on my calendar into my to-do list, and then my to-do list is much more detailed. Whenever I have an event that just comes up and goes on my calendar, I also put it in my notes, and I create a separate date for each. It's like Tuesday, the September 3rd or whatever, and it could be like November 3rd, there's an event there, just so I know that that event is taking up that block of time. I will say that with the notes, it takes a little bit more time because it's not really meant for like, it is a to-do list, but it doesn't easily populate like each of the dates, and I think that's like a small little nuance where I'm like, oh, I have to like copy and paste this every single time. But with my to-do list, like for example, if my son has swim class and I know he has swim next Friday, I'll have that down for like swim class 5 p.m. the instructor, and then the night before, I put down everything I need to pack. So I need to have things packed the night before versus the day of. So whether it's like his snacks, 2 towels, goggles, sandals to switch into once I pick him up from school, a trash bag to hold the wet towel. Like I'll put everything down there so that I don't forget to pack it the night before. And then the next day I'll like re-put it down there so that I can double check that I have everything. And that way, I don't know, it's just like whenever I miss something, I'm just like, oh, why didn't I take that 1 second to just write it down? Sometimes I have these like just shower thoughts of, oh shoot, I need to get beans or something. And okay.
I've had that. You grab your phone and
yes,
you add it to
so
your to-do.
I actually take my phone into the shower now. I don't know if anyone else does, but
You haven't, because you listen to stuff, right?
I listen to stuff and I
Yeah.
watch things also.
Oh, you watch
like
things also.
true multitasker here, but I have the sticky thing on my phone, so I just stick it to the glass, and then I'm able to watch shows that way while I shower, which sounds kind of crazy. But sometimes I'll have these thoughts and I'll literally like open it up on my notes and I'll
Add
put
it in.
like buy beans. I don't know why I'm saying beans. But like that gets synced up to my laptop and everything so that you can always update it like whenever. But yeah, my weekly scheduling has changed so much from like say 5-10 years ago because of taking that hour or two at the start of the week to just like plan things out for the entire week and also for anything else, any other dates that I'm aware of. Yeah.
I'd say now, I mean, you're pretty much planning for 2 people because you're planning for your son too.
That's
Your
true.
I
his
think about
to-do
this
list
all the
is in your
time.
to-do list.
I literally feel like I need to have 2 brains, like one brain for
Yeah,
myself and one
one
brain
for
for my
him.
son. So the brain for my son is now like on my note, like my notes app is my
Is your brain?
Is my brain. It really is. I have the memory of a goldfish, and if I don't write something down, I will forget it. So I have to write it down all the time.
Well, it's very valid. You're managing basically 2 schedules and 2 to-do lists now.
Yeah.
I would say, I have a similar approach. I will sit down usually Sunday night, sometimes Monday morning if Sunday slips by me. And similar to Mel, what you're talking about, you have kind of like this like general template for reoccurring activities. I have like a weekly template that's like ABG related task, personal task. And so I kind of do a little bit of a copy paste exercise on Sunday and then fill it in. But then there's a lot of things in my personal that I actually don't write in. And I kind of maybe just like when the day happens, I will have roughly the things there, but I might change my mind and I might shift things around.
What are the personal things that you're referring to?
Things like going to yoga class or what's like another example? Yeah, or like personal home errands. Like I needed to change my like air filter. I switched to an EV car, so I was like trying to arrange getting that charged. So there'll be kind of certain things that I might like shift around or add in last minute. Yeah, I feel like especially when it comes to like yoga and like exercise or fitness or even going outside to go for a walk, I don't schedule those things. I find that I just note in my mind like 3 times this week I want to go do this thing, and I don't put it down there. And it's kind of like whenever there's an open window, I just kind of know it's like a default that it's going to go in. My systems have changed so much over the years, depending on like the setting. But I think it all began for me in like junior high, high school. So remember the planners, you write things down.
yeah.
The agendas.
Yeah, the agendas, and now it's like we've just digitized all of it so that everything's like,
So we're actually pretty similar then in
think
terms
so.
of our planning ahead.
Well, I think because like we learned from each other. Well, I learned from the both of you. Like Janet's notes weekly, and then Helen, actually, I got it from you to do the like, oh, I need to buy beans. I started like a notes tab where it's like groceries, and I label like Target, like route, whatever. Like so different. There's different like every store has its own note, and I put when I need to get it when I remember it. So when I go out, I'm like, oh, I'm by a Target. I just swing by and get it since I'm already here.
So we all need to buy beans is the thing that's on our to-do list.
I don't even eat beans. I don't even know why I said beans.
I was like, I don't think I've seen Helen eat beans ever unless she's at Chipotle.
Chipotle.
Something that I've also, and obviously this is if you like have Amazon, if you use it, you know, I always add things to my cart now. So sometimes instead of like putting it on my to-do list, I'm just going to put it in my cart, especially for groceries. I do order groceries from using Fresh.
Amazon
And
Fresh,
so
yeah.
anytime I'm like, oh shoot, like kid loves strawberries this week, I will put down strawberries just so that the next time I have to order, like go to my fridge, I'm like, oh, what do I need to buy? It's already
it's already
filled
in
out.
there.
So I
Yeah,
just have to
yeah.
hit like, I just have to do one check and I'm like, all right, just purchase. So that's also
Nice.
saved a lot of time. Your cart doesn't go away. So that always helps.
If you're tuning into this episode, chances are you are a fan of audio content. Whether that's podcasts, audiobooks, etc., you enjoy the act of listening. Our next sponsor is an amazing platform that supports just that. Listening on Audible helps your imagination soar. No matter the genre you love, you can be inspired to imagine new worlds, new possibilities, and new ways of thinking. I've been listening to Circe, which was recommended to me by one of the wonderful women who attended my Bali trip. It's a retelling of the infamous goddess story from Greek mythology, which I absolutely loved in school, and repositions her as a hero in her own right. That's right. Find the genres you love or discover new ones with the best selection of audiobooks, podcasts, and Audible originals all in one app. Audible makes it easy to be inspired and entertained as part of your daily routine without needing to set aside extra time. I personally love having it on during my long car rides and in the background while I'm making dinner, as well as when I go on walks. There's more to imagine when you listen. New members can try Audible now free for 30 days with your first audiobook included. Visit audible.com/ABG or text ABG to 500-500. That's audible.com/ABG or text ABG to 500-500.
So that's on the weekly. What about when it comes to planning annual things? Like, are you someone who like sits down and like looks at the entire year ahead on like December 31st?
I feel like Mel is.
I feel like Mel is too. I think when it comes to planning ahead, like way ahead, Mel is probably the most planned out from that perspective.
I get this from my mom. My mom plans like we're literally right now we're talking about a vacation for next year already because my mom is very like you save more money if you're knowing like how much things cost ahead of time. Because the thing is, I think I always taught you never want to buy things last minute because that's how you spend more money and you can save more money by planning ahead. So yes, I'm always in our calendar. So the way I plan for annual things is that one, I add things to my Google Calendar immediately when I get invited to an event or like a wedding like pops up. I add it to my cal so I know what's upcoming. Because it kind of like for weddings and stuff, whether it's traveling from them or like you have to like just mentally prepare like, oh, I should get them a gift. Like these are things financially you have to be ready for. So if it's on your calendar, you just know versus being like, oh crap, this is coming up. For major events like weddings and like birthdays, I add it immediately. But the thing I know I do every year is I love to go somewhere internationally in the fall, like November, October, I always go somewhere. And so that's like kind of looking ahead. I just know that's like the timeline of when I'm going to go somewhere. And so, I just like know like, and so you guys, I think for me knowing like usually early on, let's say next year in February, I'm starting to think about where do I want to go? Who can I invite already for this event? And I start putting in fillers or like doing invites out, because I also want to like, I don't know. I do ask in advance. Like, do you guys want to go in October here? Because I know I'm already gonna be there in the fall. But yeah, for me, it's more like a budget thing, just so like I know how to budget for this. And for me, I always allocate a budget for travel. So for me, big events are just like travel at the fall. And if I have a little bit more wiggle room, let's say like I got some tax returns back that I could spend money on, I'm like, okay, maybe we could squeeze in another trip. But if not, it's just the one trip in the fall. And then yeah, weddings is I add immediately to my calendar. And I invite Ray to the thing. So he was like, hey, this is on your calendar too.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of my things I add onto the ABG calendar, and then I always invite Philip, and it's always on his calendar as well. For me, I don't plan a lot of things. Like, I don't sit down January 1st. I'm like, okay, what vacations are we going to be taking? I don't do that. I think the earliest I've ever had to plan for something is probably for the wedding. Like, that was like a year in advance, right? And that's the most I'd ever planned for anything. For like big birthdays, milestone birthdays, where there's going to be a large to-do list, I usually try and plan like 3 months ahead of time, and that's probably the earliest that I'll plan for something. But one thing that I have noticed in these past 2 years as a mom that I am now like, oh, I gotta go earlier and earlier and earlier is for the holidays. It is. Oh my goodness! Like, it's coming up, y'all.
I can see you like physically brace
tensing
yourself a
up.
little bit.
Yes, because I think for the past 2 years, a lot of times I was always like super chill about it, like, oh yeah, let's go get a Christmas tree and whenever, like there was no real pressure to it. But now I have it on my calendar, October 1st, for
Wow.
for family photos, for Christmas cards.
Yeah, those things you have to plan ahead.
It's also so Philip's birthday, my son's birthday, my birthday, Thanksgiving, Halloween, Christmas, New Year's. It's all in Q4, right?
Yeah.
And it's Q4 all in that time frame. So I realized that I do have to plan ahead. I don't like the feeling of 1 week before Christmas being at the Christmas tree farm, looking at all of the trees with holes in it that are kind of burnt and like just, dried up,
leftovers.
all the discounted ones. I'm like, why am I shopping for a discounted tree right now when we should have been, experiencing this a month beforehand? And I only have started to feel this way because of my son, because I'm like, I want to provide that magical experience for him. And the holidays are such a magical, like, fun time that my parents they got their trees up well in advance. And so I'm sort of just like calibrating to the fact that I've gotten to the past 2 years have been stressful and I don't like it. So now there's a recurring event on October 1st. Family photos, and think about Philip's birthday, think about my son's birthday, and Halloween costume, start thinking about that. So
Wow.
I'm like, I should start planning December 26th for Christmas and just, I might get to that
For
point.
the
Who
next
knows?
year. Yeah.
Yeah, and I know it
Yeah.
sounds kind of crazy, but I don't know. I know that I want to provide that experience for my son, so I kind of have to think ahead of time.
Yeah. No, I think that makes a lot of sense. It's very sweet.
Wait, I'm like selfishly thinking like crap because I don't have a child, but I was like, I want this experience for myself. So I need to start putting this because I was like,
Ask
I
Helen
think
for
the
her
past few
template.
years- I know because I think the past few years I've been really bummed out that I never got the Christmas tree up, even though like I've always loved the Christmas season. It's because I'm always back in the Bay Area and I'm just like, but I still want to like have that somewhere in my apartment or my house. So I'm like, maybe I just like start. I'm gonna add the October thing to my calendar as well.
Oh my
Be like,
gosh, should I invite you to my calendar?
maybe. It's also more like I was like, no, I had this random that I was like, I asked Ray, I was like, should we buy our Christmas tree on Black Friday for that sale?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like these little things I'm thinking about, like take advantage of the sales, you know. But
This past year, the last Black Friday was the first time I had bought all of the Christmas presents like that.
Oh wow,
day.
the presents.
Yes, because that's another thing where you can save a lot of money that way. You know, and I think now I'm like coupon clipping lady. I'm like always looking for the best deals, always making sure I'm also planning ahead and doing all of that. So annually same tools used, but only for the holidays am I just a little bit more like anal about it.
Yeah, for good reason.
However, for you, Janet.
I never used to be a like sit down the year before, and like I wasn't a big resolution setter and that kind of a thing. I like reflecting, and I think just through doing like our podcast, the setting resolutions has now started to turn into also thinking about the year ahead and planning. This year, I think, was one of the first years where because there were multiple, like I knew I was like, my sister's like baby showers coming up. I knew that I was going to be traveling to Bali, various things. And I was also like personally like living in different places. I kind of just felt like, okay, I need to map out just generally what does my year kind of look like so I can work backwards. So I did an exercise where I listed out each month and then put down like when is the major event going to happen. And then, and this is more for like the baby shower and Bali trip or other things like that. And then working backwards of being like 1 month in, what do I need to have done? 2 months in, what do I need to have done? So I did a very rough, it wasn't a super like detailed exercise, but it helped me visually to just see in the months of the year when are big things happening and when am I going to be more or less busy. And I think that helps also from a budgeting perspective, knowing if I'm going to be traveling more in certain months, I will then kind of be a little bit more like budget conscious in other seasons of the year.
Haya Health. You've heard me share about Haya many, many times on this podcast now, and it is one of my favorite to talk about and share with you all. Why? Because it is legit a staple in our household now. I've actually used a code that I will share at the end of this message. I've used the exact code to make an order for myself. Most kids' vitamins are packed with sugar and junk, but these Haya vitamins are nothing like that. They're made with 0 sugar, pressed with 12 organic fruits and veggies, and packed with all the essential vitamins and minerals our little ones need, like vitamin D, B12, and zinc. My sister has ordered several bottles for her 2 kids. My niece has the limited edition Barbie-themed bottles, which are so cute. And in addition to the daily multivitamins, she ordered the kids probiotics as well. Both her kids and mine, they love decorating their bottles with the stickers that come with the first order. It turns taking vitamins into something exciting and fun, which is such a relief when you've got picky eaters. Plus, every month, they send eco-friendly refills straight to your door. We've worked out a special deal for you all for their best-selling children's vitamin. Get 50% off your first order at hayahealth.com/ABG. This deal is not available on their regular website. Go to HIYAHEALTH.com/ABG and give your kids the full body nourishment they need to grow into healthy adults.
Well, let's actually dive into our to-do list, which I feel like are so personal to each of us, but don't change what's on your to-do list right now. Like let's share it. Let's share what's on there for today and then for this week.
I'm like, let me
Change things? No, what? What do you have on there?
I don't want to go first for this one.
All right, Jenny, you go first.
Okay, my to-do list is still set for yesterday because so sometimes it's like, you go through your daily thing and then sometimes I will clear it all and then reset for the next day. Yesterday, it didn't happen. I fell asleep before I checked all the things. So I guess my to-do list today is kind of moved in from yesterday. And also today I'd kind of mostly reserved for like filming. So I didn't add a lot of like big things. I had prep for ABG recording each of our outlines and also pick out the outfits. I have for my mini show, I wanted to draft up my birthday is coming up and I want to do a personal episode on that. So I was going to outline for that. I have some personal stuff for Instagram that I was going to film and script for. I also have on my personal home things, I need to buy an air filter. I think that's mostly... It's a little bit scattered. Sorry, I have to do a little bit of cleanup because otherwise some of this stuff doesn't make sense to other people. So, but more or less.
That's why we had a 7. Just kidding.
Yeah.
I know.
Still room for improvement.
I feel like this is a good, for anyone out there who's, I'm always curious, like, what is your day-to-day life? Life like, right? For someone who's not in my industry, someone whose life like I'm not in the shoes of. And I feel like your to-do list kind of reflects what is on your mind and just like things that you as Janet have to do as a content creator, a podcast host, and someone who's living in downtown by herself. And it's like these are the things that I have to buy for myself. So it's like a glimpse into your life.
Yeah, it's a small glimpse. I will say I kind of also use my to-do list as I'm not like a very like everything is exactly on the list. There are things that are be in my head and then sometimes
What's in your head? What's in your head?
What's in my head? So the thing that I need to film and script for, I was like either going to do that today or tomorrow, or there's a chance I might try to push it to, I'm going to Bali next week. So I might push it to post Bali trip. I don't know if that makes sense.
I want to say Helen's.
Okay, so I'm going to show you my to-do list. Make sure there's no information over here. Okay, this is what it looks like for the Notes app. Okay, I don't know
Ah.
if you can see it. But this is why I love the Notes app. And let me just tell you. So I do organize it into like ABG socials for my content creation. I put down baby boy,
Mm.
and then other. I have an other, and then other two, and an other three.
I do that too. You start the categories
What
start
the
to
heck?
Yeah. Okay. So ABG podcast recording. Look. Okay. So you can check off podcast recording, and then it goes down the list, down to the bottom of the list. I think that's why I like the Notes app. I used to
just-
also
Wait.
use Google Doc. Wait. What?
I didn't know that. I can't even see your screen, by the way, but
Wait, I thought you
What?
use notes too.
I might know something like that. I can't. But the thing is, I can't see Helen's screen, by the way.
Okay. Okay.
Oh. Once you check the box, usually it
It
auto
automatically goes to the
down.
bottom of your list.
Oh, mine doesn't do that.
It should. Let me look at your list later. Are you using
Yeah,
the
okay.
checkbox feature, like the little circle that you can click to
Yeah.
check? Huh. Okay, I'll help
Yeah, I
you out
don't know.
later.
Okay.
But I think that's one of the best parts because I felt like with the Google Docs, I always had to scroll down or like cut and paste below
Yeah, yeah.
versus this is automatic. That's why I love it. Okay, the other two things I have for ABG, message the fuckboy. Why?
Oh God. Okay.
That's
it's
on my
insight to a
list.
future episode.
That's on my list. Yes,
Great.
future episode. Tune in. My Spill the Baby Tea Instagram post / description, which is coming out next Tuesday, so I have to work on that. And then for socials, I actually put down take outfit check reel and cover photo with Janet, which we already did.
So we can check it off.
Check
for
that off.
satisfaction.
Yes, go to the bottom. I also wanted to take a photo for my nails for a cover photo. Okay, this is really intimate. Checking that off, and look, when you hit socials, I don't even know if this camera can capture this this content, but look, you click socials, it goes down to the bottom, and it's great.
Wow.
So that's done, and then I have baby boy. He has swim tomorrow, so I have all the things he needs to pack, which I have to do tonight. And then in my other section, return my pack son stuff. Reserve restaurant for Janet's birthday. That's coming up
Aw.
next week. And then my grandma was just like, I want to go to Seattle. So I'm like, all right, gotta go look into Seattle. And then there's a free dance class that I might put my son in. So I need to look into that.
Oh my gosh,
Ooh.
I love this.
He's a good dancer too.
He's
He is. He's a natural.
he's swimming now. He's like into swimming. He loves swimming.
Aw.
Last week we went 5 days a week, which is crazy.
Wow, dang.
Wow. Let me swim with him.
Yeah, you should teach him. You should swim. Yeah. I feel like
I'll
he's
try.
a fish. You're a fish too. And then I have some like other posts that I want to do. So that's on my to-do list.
Wow. Okay.
All right. How about for you, Mel?
have-
Why am I so
okay,
excited
so
talking
my-
about my to-do list? Sorry.
I think this is fun. So my to-do list is always today's Thursday.
Thursday,
But I
yeah.
always do it's work first and then personal. So work, I always have emails as my top thing because I like to read all my emails. I don't respond right away, and I know which ones I need to respond ASAP. So for example, today I got to check the Plate by Plate LA email because I know we're doing a giveaway with them, and like I need to make sure we're on it for posting. So I Plate by Plate email and have other emails just to check. I have upload thumbnail images from the New York recording because I did 2 recordings in New York this week, and I have the thumbnail images I got to upload to our Google Drive. I said prep for recordings for today because I'm also on 2 recordings today. I also note the time of a recording. So 1:30 Eastern time is the ABG catch-up recording, 3 o'clock to-do list recording, 7:30 I have a meeting with Emma, who's our social intern, and underneath that I said prep for meeting. And then the next thing to do is schedule more recordings for my mini show. I have 2 guests I need to schedule, which is Joyce and Darlene. And then I had to record the mini show intro I did last night and send it to Victoria. So that's my work to-do list. And it goes to personal. There's 2 reoccurring things you'll always see in my personal segment. It is journal and meditate, and then check my other email, which is like my social media contact email because I have 2 different emails, and then apply for my visa for my upcoming Vietnam trip. I'm behind. I put a question mark for this one, but I also need to film a partnership, and I was like, film question mark, and I was like, depending on how I feel. And then I also have another partnership I got to post today, so I said post IG stories. And then lastly on my personal to-do list, I put send thank yous to the people who I recorded with in New York, just as like a, like to send a little thank you for coming out. And I went on a couple like networking calls a few weeks ago and send thank yous to those people as well. So just, yeah, that's a lot.
A lot of laptop work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's my to-do list for today.
To all my wonderful parents and caregivers out there, let's talk about those unforgettable moments with your little ones. The first steps, the giggles, the boundless energy. But let's be real, with a growing and wild child, those moments can also mean unexpected messes, which is why I'm excited to share something that's been a lifesaver for us, Pampers Cruisers 360. Pampers Cruisers 360 is the must-have baby-proof diaper. These slide on like a pair of pants, unlike ordinary diapers with tabs or tapes that your escape artist can rip off. And trust me, thanks to its 360-degree stretchy waistband, it can help save you from some serious messes and keep your baby comfy. With up to 100% leak-proof protection, you can let your little one explore and play. And when it's time for a change, it's as easy as ripping the sides, rolling it up with a disposable tape on the back, and you're done. Simple as that. Try Pampers Cruisers 360 with the new Pampers Free and Gentle wipes for healthy baby skin. They're made from 100% plant-based cloth that grips the mess. With Free and Gentle, mess meets its match. Let your little one live wild and mess-free because every adventure should end in smiles, not cleanups. For trusted protection, trust Pampers, the #1 pediatrician recommended brand.
Okay, so obviously now we kind of have like an insight of everyone's daily task and how we organize these tasks. It's like same but different, you know, but I think it's really interesting. I think for me, like I'm someone that have to like write everything down. Like I think Jenna, you're saying like there's some things there's like maybes on your head and your mind. I can't have maybes. I think for me, I live in this like gray area. I'm like, no, it has to be like, what is it? Like, when is it going out?
Same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But my next question is like this happens all the time, but what's something on your to-do list that constantly gets pushed down because you're like, I don't want to do that.
Oh, girl. I have so many. This is in my other 2 and other 3 list, right?
Oh, okay.
So what's in there? Clean my shower.
Oh, yeah.
Mainly the hard water because we live in California
it's
and
hard to
it's
clean off.
so bad. The hard water's so bad. So I kind of want to like take a little thing and like shape it
I
off.
have a trick for you for that. Okay.
Tell the listeners.
Are you talking about your shower because you don't squeegee?
We squeegee, but it still stays.
Okay,
Yeah,
I think you have to use vinegar and water mixture. And I don't know if you have to add soap, but I use part vinegar, water, and you spray it and let it sit, and then you scrub again with like a shower cleaner.
Okay, let me try that. I'll try that. This was so long ago, but this keeps getting pushed down. I have like posts for our friend Eric's birthday, which was last December, and it's almost December again.
The next year.
So in my mind, I see it every day.
Oh no!
And I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna wait till December now, but I think I might. Okay, after today, I'm gonna push
Put
this
it
down to the December date.
Yeah. That's stressful to see it every day. No,
Girl. Watch The Bodyguard. Why? I don't know.
Wait, the like Whitney Houston movie?
I think someone had said to me, you have to watch this movie. And I was like, all right, let me write it down. And then it just keeps getting pushed down. Buy door handles. I moved into my place like 3-4 years ago now, and we renovated the whole place and took out like all the little knobs for the closet doors. So there's just like holes there now. Our friend Justin had come over recently, and he was just like, Helen, where are your door handles? And I'm like, it's on my to-do list, you know, but I just never, you know, it's so quick to get done, but it just gets pushed down. And then look into long-term disability, get whole insurance for baby, and a bunch of just house decor stuff.
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
What's the difference between like option 2 and option 3, or the other 2 and 3?
3 is like Eric's birthday post is in there. It's like super low priority, you know, but it's still on my to-do list.
Got it.
Door handles are in 3 for some reason, and then clean shower is in 2, maybe because I use it daily, and also it's something that Philip really cares about. So it's
A little bit higher.
sadly
priority.
not that high of a priority because it's still my other 2 list, but it's there.
Yeah.
It's there. I think it developed because the other 2 got too long, and then I had to create other 3. There's actually a lot of other things in this, but those are the ones I will point out.
I'm very
But yeah.
curious.
How about for you, Janet?
Buy the air filter. That's actually been on my list for like a month now, and I just keep pushing it down.
Girl, I'm about to buy the air filter for you.
I know. But so what was interesting is like at what point do you just make the call to take an item off the list? Like I had for a while clean. So my downtown loft there, you know, it's like the industrial style. I moved back in recently and I noticed that the piping on the top is like dusty. And these are things that usually like I just never really like looked at, but I looked at that and then the air vent. I was like, damn, that needs to be cleaned. But I can't reach it. I need to get a ladder. I don't have a ladder, so I would have to get one from the front desk. I've tried scheduling with the front desk like 3 to 4 times now. I've gone on and popped in and been like, hey, could I borrow the ladder? And they're like, oh, the person that is like not here. So eventually it just got to the point where I'm like, you know what? Maybe it's okay. I don't need to clean it, and I'll just get an air filter, and the air filter will filter any dust coming from the pipes into the air. So that is. So I took the clean the pipes off my to-do list, and air filter now is there, but it just keeps getting pushed down because there's like research involved and all of that's one thing. I also did because I did.
That's like my door handles. It's
it's
similar.
your equivalent of the door. It's like the home item thing that like
It's fine without.
It's fine without.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Except you might get sick
I might kind
off
of
yours.
need, the air filter's getting a little dusty. So. But like I did also change my health insurance at the beginning of this year. And in the process of like figuring out all the different benefits, one of the things is I think I get like acupuncture or massage services as part of under like something. And I just had that on my list in January to look into because I would love to go and, get like more like self-care type things, but it just hasn't happened. So that's we're in August, September now. So it's been since like January on my list. Those are things that, I think those are two of the big things that keep getting pushed down. How about you, Mel?
I feel you. The biggest thing that literally every week I'm just like, I have no brain power for this. And I know it's really important is like, I have to get health insurance in New York because
Girl,
ever
I've
since
heard this like
moving,
10 times already.
insurance, I'm sorry. I
know
hate
it's
dealing with
overwhelming.
this
It's
stuff.
not fun
It's a
to
lot,
look into. Yeah.
It's not. And I'm just like, and at the same time, also doing like, there's two insurance things I'm dealing with. I'm just like, I'm the worst person to ask. But like, I finally like,
You did
I
it?
finally called. No, so this is what's so dumb. I literally called the New York insurance people, whatever, and they're like, "Yeah, we can help you sign up." And I was like, "Great, what do you need?" They're like, "Do you want to do it over the phone? It's gonna take 30 minutes." I was like, "What?" Like, I don't know. Sitting here on the phone, I don't know if that makes sense. And then there's something else I had to check, and he was like, "We'll just mail you the form." I have the form in my mail. I hadn't opened it. It's in my like front. Check it. My front, like where my shoes are. Been there for like 3 months. So I really have to open up the mail and then fax the form over for them for my health insurance. It just like, I don't know why. I just feel like there's other things that are easier for me to get through that I'm like, it's been pushing down. So that's like the biggest thing. The other thing is like, I always have an ongoing thing called like check on my goal sheet because I am very like at beginning of the year, I set goals and activities related to those goals. And I feel like sometimes I want to just check in on that. But I feel like this year's been really busy that by the time I'm done with work, I'm just like, I want to sit on the couch and like watch TV. And I'm like, I don't really want to be like sitting with my goal list. I'm like, how am I doing? So that's something I have not been doing. And the last thing, it's kind of more recent, but I finally decided to go to my friend's wedding in Cabo because like I'm gonna be in like California, so flying out there. But she was like, everyone book your shuttles like to go home, and I'm like, I didn't book that either. Like, so that's been pushing on my list, like booking accommodation or shuttle from the airport to Cabo. But that's pretty much it for now. Yeah.
I've heard about this health insurance and stuff so many times. I'm like, the amount of times you've talked about it.
But hell, I think you're getting confused because I have the health insurance for New York, and then we have the workers' disability insurance for New York that I've been dealing with.
Actually, that's what you've been. Yeah, it's a lot. It is a lot.
A lot of different. Yeah.
This is the one thing with like a health insurance, like freelancer, you got to figure that out. That's what I miss about corporate. Like, oh, here are the different packages. They're like, great.
Everything's already saying you don't have to think about it.
Yeah. The New York like disability insurance. I'm just like, what? Like employment? I'm sorry, what? I'm so confused. But anyways.
Still figuring.
That's it.
Okay. Let us know when that's figured out. So that I think I might put it on my like other to-do list just so that I can check in on you.
Other.
Yes.
Other 4.
Okay. Well, besides like the things that like you're pushing down, like what's something on your to-do list that you wish you had more time to actually do? Or maybe it's something that's not even on your to-do list, but you wish it was.
Something that I have on my to-do list is to manage and reallocate where some of my money is sitting. I think as someone who has worked in finance, you would think that is all super organized, but it's when your checking account starts, growing and it's taken the time to move it out and put it into like different investments. That to me, I feel like is something that I could spend just a little bit of time doing. But I think when you're moving money, it's always also like, like where should I move it to? It's risky, and so it's like I'm fine where I am now, so why change it? But I also know that I should be investing a lot of that instead. That's probably like the biggest thing on my list. Yeah. How about for you, ladies? Your air filter.
My air filter is probably the biggest thing right now because it's affecting. Like I wake up and I'm like my nose feels kind of dry. It's probably because it's dust flowing into my nasal passageway.
Also, you should probably get a humidifier.
Oh yeah, I have like 4 now. I've used through. I just haven't started using. Maybe I can't tell if it's like dust or if it's the dryness. Humidifier and an air filter maybe is what I need to do. Yeah.
I was gonna say, can you task rabbit that, Jay?
for someone to like research an air filter and then like buy it for me.
Oh, never mind. Oh, and I was like, oh, to replace it.
I like
Sorry,
the
I don't
idea
know.
though. Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
I had the air filter for my air conditioning has been replaced, and that you're actually supposed to do every 3 months for anybody who lives in even in your apartment. Your building should be doing that. But I'm doing like a air filter, like a portable air filter that I need in my loft just to help like the manage the dust and the particles. That's probably the most immediate though. I think honestly, like I feel like most stuff, it's like it either gets done or I just decide to not do it. And then it goes away. How about you, Mel?
Mine is goal sheet. I like love to check in. I think the other thing, like this sounds really like such a content creator type of like thing. I wish I had more time mentally to figure out more fun content to film. I think creatively I've been kind of in a like limbo place where I don't feel like it's like the feeling like, oh, I should, or it sounds like fun, but like I just can't bring myself to do it because I just think to be honest, I've been in and out of stress in New York. So I just feel like mentally I'm like, I don't really want to create. I just want to, I get moments I'm like, one day I'm like, sure, I'll do it. And other days I'm just like, I just kind of want to like just be. And so I wish I just had more mental capacity to want to be excited to film and like my own content, but I just haven't sometimes.
I think that's normal too
Yeah.
for a content creator that, you know, it's hard to constantly be thinking about something,
Oh yeah,
you know, like that.
100%.
Yeah. I feel like this is like kind of negative vibes. Can I just add like something that I have checked off that was on my to-do list for a long time?
Please.
I used to never do this, pencil in just like self-care days. And I've heard this from people of saying like, oh yeah, just put it on your calendar, you know, like then it gets done. And I was just like, oh yeah, but everything else, you know, takes so much more priority. Like, of course I should be moving my money instead of taking care of myself, you know? But I started recently doing that. And I've had on my to-do list for like 10 years, go to a dermatologist. It is finally on my calendar for
I saw it on the
Oh,
email
nice.
calendar too.
Yes.
As a dermatologist appointment.
Yes. And then I also
10 years in the making.
Yes, I recently did acupuncture, which is something that I've been also wanting to do for a long time. And I know you ladies got me a massage like 2 years ago for my birthday.
I think when you were still pregnant.
Yeah,
The
I
time
did
or
that
before.
like 6 months ago, but like I had to look for that email. I was like,
Yeah,
oh no,
yeah,
I hope it
yeah.
didn't expire. And it didn't expire. So I was able to do that. So I think lately I've just been saying no to a lot of things, like just busy things, you know, that might benefit you in some way or form, or, you know, just more like hangouts and meetups. But I've decided that like if you schedule in these self-care days, you do feel so much better.
Yeah.
Like it just feels like life slows down, that you're more intentional about things. And I think especially now, like as a mom too, I realize that if I don't take care of myself, then I will literally go insane. So
Yeah,
it's important. It is so important too. And I just feel happier too. Like when you do that, when you take care of yourself, you do feel happier. I know that sounds so basic, but like
But
I
it's
just
true.
yeah. And the fact that it's finally off my to-do list and it's been on there for like 10 years, some of these things, it feels good. Yeah.
No, 10 years.
Yeah.
That's a long time.
10 years, like it made its way from your physical like
Yes,
planner.
my planner agenda written
into-
down, yes, to the digital, yes. I feel like with your to-do list, like it is so personalized, but sometimes when your life is so integrated with someone else's, say like a significant other's, if they organize a little bit differently, there can be some contention there. You know, have you ever Janet's nodding profusely. She's like, "Yup, this question's for me."
Yeah. I will say, so, and this took time to reflect after, but like last year when I was like living and integrating my life with my partner, one of the things that we were trying to figure out is like scheduling personal things, right? And I think I was in such a like work mode brain that I did try using the Google Calendar and scheduling like weekly check-ins and all this stuff and weekly date nights. And I feel like I see the validity and the value in a lot of that. And for some couples it could work. I actually feel like for us it made things too business-like and too structured. So I would offer the alternative perspective of when you're scheduling your personal life things, maybe don't use the same systems as your work, because otherwise your mentality might carry through. I don't know. I think it's different for everyone, but that's just something like, because I was talking to our friend Tim, and he was saying his girlfriend, like, she is more of like an analog. She likes like writing things down. So they don't do like Google Calendar invites and things like that. And I was like, oh, that's kind of actually maybe nice, because then it also puts the onus on you as a partner to then have to like, you put it into your own system instead of someone else being able to put it into your calendar or something like that. There was just some nuances of that I'm like, okay, I think I realized maybe for me, like, having planning for my social life and my personal stuff a little bit differently than my work stuff would be valuable. So, how about you, ladies?
Mel's like the complete opposite.
Yeah, I think so.
Ray and I both live by our Google Calendar. So I think for me, it benefits that he's on the same organization system as I am. Cause like he'll add things like, hey, like for us, it's like, hey, like a friend's visiting or someone wants to grab dinner with us. Like, like he'll add me to his calendar. So I know that's upcoming. I like it because I think for me too, it's like sometimes he's like, there are days he's like, oh shit, I forgot we had a dinner. I was like, yeah, dude, it's not on your calendar. So it's just like, I think it helps us to remember what's coming up. Cause I think with your coordinating two different schedules together, it could be kind of confusing. So we try to put things on our Google Calendar as much as we can. He'll even like put on my calendar, like, hey, it's been a while. We should have date night. And so we're like, okay, so I have date night on my calendar. And so then we kind of figure out like what to do for that stuff. It would literally, I think, annoy the crap out of me if he wasn't like, okay, if he wasn't if he was on the same system, and two, he just wasn't organized. I think that's the thing. I think I like prefer to date a guy that one just gets things done or is aware of getting things done. I don't know if I could be with someone who's just not organized at all. And I think for me, it doesn't have to even be on the same system, but like at least he's able to get things done. I think it benefits in my favor that we're on the same system though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree with you on the calendar thing. I think it's more for us for like efficiency purposes. Like I have full access to his calendar. He doesn't care what's on my calendar. So whenever I put something on my calendar, I'll invite him, you know, and then I can see his calendar. So it doubles up my calendar, which is a little bit annoying. But I will say that Philip is like not on my terms organized.
Yeah.
He's I don't even know how he organizes, but to what you were saying, he gets things done. Like he has two businesses. There's so much going on in any given day. It's wild. Like yesterday he was in San Diego. This morning he's shooting like a big Netflix thing. Like, and I'm just like, when did you have time to prep? Like what? He's just like, I just get things done. And I'm like, where do you organize it? He's like, it's in my brain. What? But I think his work requires so much just like putting out fires or immediate things on like 1 day, 2 day, 3 days that if he were to like have a long list, which I know he has a list somewhere, but I think it's like super just, you know, in like a draft email or like a notes, you know, here and there. I think if it was like super organized, it might be too overwhelming. So to each their own, but as long as he's getting things done, I can't yuck his yum of how he does things, you know. But the Google Calendar is something that I do put on his calendar, and sometimes he'll just put on his own calendar. Like this Sunday, he's like, Ronnie Chang show. I'm like, oh, am I invited? I don't know. He doesn't tell me. And then yesterday he was like, oh yeah, this Sunday, Ronnie Chang show. I'm like, oh, am I part of this? Like, tell me, you know? But I just, when I see it, I assume that I'm going to. Yeah. It's more for
that makes sense why
efficiency.
you have access. Yeah.
Yeah. He knows I have access and I can see it. It's more efficient instead of saying like, oh, can you put this on your calendar? Like, oh, we're going to do this. It's kind of just assumed, which works for us. And I know that probably doesn't work for everyone.
There's one thing I was thinking about getting to help with the efficiency because I think the Google Calendar works, but I don't know why I saw this at Ray's sister's house. They have like the calendar you could put on your refrigerator and then write things in every month.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of nice because you're always in the fridge. You're like, oh, what do we need to buy? What are things like what's coming up for this month? And I'm like, okay, it'd be kind of nice just to visually have something to reference every day.
So I did that.
I haven't bought that yet.
I did that for my son. Like I made a calendar for him just so that he can see like what's his schedule.
Oh, that's so cute.
All he has is like swim class and that's it. So we'll draw like a little swim. So I'm like, what's today? You know, and then he went in and just drew Batman days of days he wants to wear his Batman shirt. Like without telling me, he just started taking a black marker and started drawing like what looks like a bat shape. And he's like, Batman Day, Batman Day, Batman Day. And then ruined my calendar. So, but yeah, that is cute when, you know, you can. But then that's like another thing to think about, to like write it on your calendar and write it down.
I don't know why. I kind of like it.
Okay.
Because before when I used to live with roommates, I look forward to like, okay, time to erase the board and write something new. It reminds me I'm back in school, like elementary when you had the whiteboard. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, to wrap up today's episode, I thought we could end on like a kind of like a fun question. Like, have you ever added something to your to-do list just to like mark it off right after? Like that feeling, you know?
Yeah. Sometimes I will do something and then retroactively add it to the to-do list and then put it into the archive just to have the satisfaction of being able to check it. But I think also Helen and I have talked about this before. Like we track what we've done. So it's a little bit of also historical data. So if I want to remember what I did at a certain day, it's logged there as well. But
Same. That's just like an endorphin boost. Like when you check
Yeah.
off something. Yeah, next time. Took a fat dump. Well, with that, we hope that you all got something out of this episode. It was interesting because I feel like our organization has like changed over the
Yeah,
time that
yeah.
we've worked together, and we've gotten to a point where we're like solid 7 and 8s. I would say 7 and 8s between the three of us. Hopefully it helps some of you out there who are just working on your own organization tactics and techniques and trying to figure out what can work for you. Hopefully we gave you some insight and you can take a nugget or two from how we do it.
And with that, we'll catch you all in the next episode.
Bye.
Bye.
Before we wrap today's episode, we want to give a quick shout out to Teresa Wynn. She is our ABG bestie of today. Thank you, Teresa. If you want to also join our Supercast, you can check the details in the show notes below and tune in. We've been having some fun Dear ABG sessions every month. They're live and interactive with our other besties. So if you want to interact with us monthly, go ahead and check that out.
Come hang out.
Bye.